The best way to support the Locker Room is to head over to Australia's #1 fantasy sports destination, moneyball.com.au. Head over there now and sign up for free today. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of The Locker Room. I'm here with Blake Austin. Canberra's out of nowhere, literally a bolt for Origin last year nearly. That's how good you were playing last year, but how you been after such a huge year?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Thanks for having us. And yeah, it's been a pre-season. I've been in the rehab for the first half, and obviously had the shoulder up. I injured it in round 25, and it's coming along a little slower than what I would have hoped. But yeah, I'm sure we'll be fine and on track for round one, and it's probably give me a little bit of a chance to rest up and, as Sticky would say, get a bit of meat on my legs. Obviously, been doing plenty of leg weights, so yeah, it's probably a blessing in disguise. And I've had Aiden Caesar there in rehab with me as well, so we've had plenty of time to spend together, and
that's good actually.
We really form a good friendship, and so things are looking good.
And how is it going into a new so you're going into 2014 pre-season? You know, you're a first grader, but you're nowhere near as established as you are now. What is there? Do you feel different going into this pre-season? Maybe more confident because of the year you had, or like how are you feeling mentally going into the new season after like one of the best? Like it was one of the best halves in the game, really, to be honest, last year. So yeah, how are you feeling going into this season?
Yeah, it's obviously a feeling that I haven't really felt before. It was reported that I left the Tigers to go to the Raiders to be their number 6, but being someone that had only played sort of 35, 40 NRL games, I never felt like I was going there with a position sealed up. Heading into this year, you know, I feel like the number 6 jersey is mine, and it's up to me to work hard and really hold on to it. You know, we're going to have 3 really good first class halves down there this year with myself, Aiden, and Sammy Williams. So that's good. Yeah, I'm going to have to continue to work hard and hopefully grow my game.
And is there a different approach this year? As in, you know, are you controlling the team? As in, you probably haven't been able to play much with the team yet because you've been injured. But I mean, in the preseason, are you more take more responsibility for, you know, maybe the direction of the team and maybe more of a leadership role now because of the year you did have? Is it, or is it similar?
Yeah, possibly a leadership role. I think. I think the good thing about our team is everyone knows their role, and you know, I know my role is to be around the football and make sure I'm there if something's going to happen. So Aiden's come to the Raiders to really be a dominant playmaker and control a lot of the team, and hopefully that's going to allow me to sort of roam like I did last year. But as a half, you always want to keep developing your game, and you know, so that more organisational stuff, I'm definitely going to have to shoulder more of a load. And but in saying that, it's sticking to your strengths, and one of mine's my running game, and I won't be changing that.
And so take us all the way back. I mean, you're turning 25 this year, so you debuted when you were 19. 20. So you debuted when you're 19. You're 20. Well, I mean, it was a slow burn for you. Like, you know, it wasn't like debut and then boom, like you're playing first grade. You know, it was kind of in and out. You know, 40 games or so before you came to the Raiders. So, I mean, what do you reckon? Do you reckon you needed that time to just kind of get your footing in the 5/8 position, or was it more like, you know, injuries, or, you know, maybe coaches went with different players that they thought were this or that? You know, what do you reckon was the reason for kind of the slow burn?
I think first of all at Penrith, I probably struggled with the rigours of week in, week out first grade.
Okay.
And, took for granted how hard you got to work, I guess. I think as a 20s player you can coast a bit and still come out on the weekend and put in a good performance, whereas in grade, you know, if you're not putting in every bit of work, you know, you're going to get found out pretty quick. So, but I think the things I was able to do on the field this year with the Raiders, the foundation started to be laid at the end of my time at Penrith, and you know, I thought I was going to find a club pretty quick. I was a young kid and thought I was a handy footballer. So, but the clubs weren't really lining up. So, you know, at 22, I was panicking that my career could have been over as quick as it started. So, thankfully, the Tigers gave me an opportunity, and you know, I was really happy with what I'd done at the Tigers. I think with the opportunities that I was given, I think I sort of done all I can. And
I was going to say, I feel like at the Tigers, you didn't really get a chance to like just settle in and do your magic kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. I think, I got moved around a little bit. In saying that, I managed to play, I think I played 20 games through the year.
Okay.
So that gave me a bit more of a taste of what a full season's like.
Yep.
And it allowed me to, come onto Ricky's radar, I guess, and get a start down in Canberra.
And do you feel that the 20s comp has had a negative impact on the NRL? Like, as in, this is my personal opinion, I feel it has had a negative impact. As in, as you said, in under 20s you can kind of get away with this here or there. Whereas if you're in reserve grade and you're playing against men, it's a lot harder to, whatever. When you're running into a forward pack that are a group of men, you can't just take it easy. You've got to go hard. Do you reckon the under 20s comp has been a positive or a negative?
Yeah, well, look, under 20s is a hard slog. People think it's a dream gig for a young kid, but
working and
none of
training.
them earning the money that people think they're earning, and they're slogging away in factories or studying. So they're coming in after hard days, and I don't have a problem with the comp. I just think there's probably just too much hype surrounding it. I think we could keep that 100%. Comp and bring the Premier League back. I remember when I first came into 20s, and I come in as an 18-year-old, and I was playing against kids in 20s that I thought were sort of superstars because I'd seen them on TV and watched their Toyota Cup games, and I was like, I saw him doing an interview on TV and things like that, and I really thought they were some of the stars. Yeah, I
didn't think about that. That is pretty weird. That because these kids that literally most of those kids would barely make a lot of reserve grade sides. You'd only get probably 4 or 5 of each 20 team that would make the reserve grade side in Queensland Cup. Depends which reserve grade side you're talking about, but yeah, you're right. It is a bit weird because you would see these guys, and because you get this image of them being on TV, you kind of put them up on this platform, and yet they're in any other. If there was no 20s comp, they'd just be another under 18 player or something, or under 19 or whatever.
Yeah, I think one of the other issues too is I think when it first started out that it was a 20s comp, but as the years went by, I think the club started using that comp to fast track some of the younger kids. And you got some teams that are filled with 18-year-olds, and and 18 coming out of SG Ball, it's only an 8-week comp, and then you're going into a 26 round, travelling around and doing that. It's tough for the young kids.
And when you did come into first grade, what was that like for you? When you got the call for the debut, was it expected? Was it, what was the phone call like for you?
Yeah, it was around 25. So it's my last year at 20s, and we were playing down in Canberra, so it was pretty cold.
Oh, really? I fucking hate Canberra, bro. I know you live there and love it probably, but I fucking hate it.
But just a dream come true, mate. I'm just a Western Sydney kid that's lived and breathed footy my whole life, and to finally get a chance, it was definitely one of the best nights of my life.
And how did it happen? Was it at training? Did they, pull you aside so you're playing first grade?
Yeah, he told me at the start of the week, he said he was going to give me a run. I was playing 20s, and then I sort of went to the coach and said, is it going to be better for my development to go and play Prems? And he said, yeah, perhaps. And I spent 6 or 7 weeks there, and then he said, yeah, I'm going to give you a run. He said, do you want me to name you in the program, or do you want to sort of fly in under the radar? And I said, I'd love to see my name in the program. So, it was definitely a good night. My first run was straight at Josh Papali, my now teammate. And,
that is literally the worst. If there's one player in the whole comp you don't want to run at...
I'm fairly lucky he lifted me, but he didn't go for a big shoulder charge or that, so it was only a lifting tackle, but... Yeah, it wasn't very pleasant.
You know what a lot of fans don't realise is some of the big hits that you see don't hurt as much as the hits you don't see.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the hits you don't see, the contact is so, I guess, visceral, and you're not moving back from it. Whereas when you get fully bashed, you don't really get. There's not many times when I was playing personally anyway where I'd get fully flogged and get shoulder charged or whatever and fall over where I'd be injured, whereas there's plenty of times when I've gone into a collision and come out fully rattled. And so did you play lock growing up as well?
Yeah, so I was always a 5'8" growing up.
You would have been a bigger 5'8" though, wouldn't you? Or did you go
I wasn't that big growing up. I was always a state runner, probably up until about 12 or 13, and then
so sprinting or long distance?
Sprinting, yeah. I was always a sprinter, so I was always the sort of fast kid that you threw the
100, 200, 400?
100, yeah.
Oh, okay,
and I was a long jumper, so...
Tell me a bit more about that, because I myself did little athletics and did similar strategy.
Love little athletics. I got my son in there now.
The smell of
Friday night heading... Oh, mate.
It makes me nervous as shit.
Yeah, so long jump, discus, and the sprints were my key events, and... Okay. I owe a lot to little athletics.
I reckon it's so crucial, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Just your athleticism in general, to be able to do all these different things, whether it be jump, sprint, long distance. I reckon it just has this great foundation for putting kids into whatever kind of sport they want to kind of veer off into, whether it be soccer, whether it be... it helped me personally, as I was saying earlier, like playing soccer and then going into footy. So was it a conscious decision of leaving athletics to play footy, or?
No, I never left it. Yeah, I sort of kept it the whole way through. Obviously, they didn't really clash. But at probably 13, 14, I had a few knee issues, and for a couple of years there, my mum still pays out on me, but I ran with a limp. And I couldn't shake it no matter how.
Really?
And it wasn't until 3 or 4 years later that I found out I had a fragment in my kneecap, a chip, that I actually did ice skating.
No way.
So within those years of losing my speed and stuff, they were some of the hardest years, because I'd gone from being the fastest kid to struggling to barely run. And I got moved into hooker then. I was the tallest, skinniest hooker you would have ever seen.
Getting down to the ball would have been fun.
In Harold Mats. And then I grew a bit, so I played lock. But I think one of the biggest things I struggled with coming in at Penrith is there wasn't a coach I had that could tell me what position I was going to be.
Oh, okay. That would, especially 5'8", it's such a specialist position.
Well, yeah, I had to be light enough and nimble enough 1 week to play 6, and then sort of heavy and robust enough to play lock the next week. So it was hard to find a playing weight, and it wasn't until I went to the Tigers that I realised that the weight I need to play it was actually a lot lower than what I thought, and was able to regain a bit of that speed that I lost.
And I reckon, me personally, I think that a lot of teams, I don't know about what the Raiders are like, a lot of teams focus a bit too much on weight. I think there's a lot of players that don't play as well because they're forced to put on weight that they don't really need.
Yeah.
I mean, look at, for example, Benji. When he was lighter, I mean, he's still, don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is when he was light, he was friggin' unstoppable. Yeah, and then as his career's gone on, he's put more weight on to be able to defend, and I feel like he's kind of sacrificed that little extra second or whatever to be a better defender or whatever. Yeah,
well, I'm a big believer that you sort of know your weight, and you know what weight you can perform your best. So I don't think it's something that you really need to be told.
Yep.
It's, if you're 20, 22, 23 playing footy, you've played it for long enough to sort of know where you should be playing at. Yeah.
Do you know the Broncos, they'd fine you if you didn't make the weight they put for you?
Yeah, right.
It's outrageous. Friggin' Dane Gay guy, I swear to God, he got his whole contract fined in friggin' 3 weeks. Just refused to put the weight on. He'd try, he'd come in and smash like a water bottle, but they wanted him at 98 or 100 kilos or whatever, and he's not that, he's big, but he's not 100 kilos.
Yeah.
Your debut, you did you play well? I mean, that year for you, how many games did you play, and what was the kind of year for you?
So that was the back end. So I played that week, and I played the following week against the Dragons. Then headed into preseason. We had a new coach, Ivan Cleary, came in.
Oh, okay, yeah.
As a 21-year-old, I managed to make the round 1 team for the following year on the bench, and obviously that's a lot of players' goal to make that round 1 team as a young kid. And I think I played the first, I think it was the first 10 or 11 rounds.
Yep.
And that felt like a whole season for me, being the age I was. And I done my AC against the Rabbitohs that year and missed the rest of the season. So, sort of then the following year at Penrith, I played the first 5 rounds in Prems and played pretty well, and come into grade against the Cowboys, and we lost 30-0, and I had the number 7 on my back that week, which is a huge head.
Oh, really?
Head boggle for me.
Are you superstitious?
I can't put the 7 on my back because I feel like everyone thinks they have to control everything and do every kick and do this and do that. So, really, it plays with my head a little bit. But I was the one that lost my spot the following week, and did my Liz Frank the following week playing Premier League. So I missed a lot of that season as well.
And what do you reckon? I mean, this year, literally just played out of your skin. What do you reckon the difference has been? What is it been the build-up of confidence of playing first grade and just getting games under your belt? What is the defining factor that made you go from a good first grader to one of the formed players of the comp?
Yeah, I think first of all, like I said before, I think it started when I left the Panthers, and to be honest, I worked my backside off in the period between leaving Penrith and getting to the Tigers, and I showed up day one in the shape of my life.
Oh, okay.
So I think it started then, and since then I've been able to maintain a good fitness base, and some of the tries I scored this year were just simply by being in the right place at the right time. And
fit enough to be there kind of thing.
In the past, I was sitting back watching some other fit bloke grab the ball and put it down over the line and wondering why I couldn't score them tries. So I think the fitness is huge. I mean, you've only got to look at JT and, you can obviously see that he's one of the fittest in the game. And
he's always there.
Always in the game.
Yep.
If someone makes a break, it's some of the sticky's always into me about that. Even in defence, Thurston will always have his body in the frame. So, he's definitely someone I'll try to base my game on.
Do you mould your game on Thurston? Is he a guy that you watch and you enjoy his game and you would like to kind of... obviously you can't mimic him because it's two different players, but is he someone that you kind of look to for a direction of where your game would like to be? Or
I guess I'd like just to have his competitiveness.
Yep.
Just to I think leading into last year, Josh Reynolds was another one.
Yep.
I think similar. I think Josh came into grade pretty late as well, and
I reckon that got him his New South Wales jersey. Just how
he wasn't, and I'll probably say it now, he's probably not the most talented half in the comp, but when he's in his prime, he's just similar to Thurston. He's just in the game at all times and threatening the line. Yeah.
And he forces good form in himself because he's just constantly battling for whatever.
Yep.
And it's weird because like this last season has kind of been his competitiveness has kind of been his downfall. Giving away penalties and rah. So it's like this weird fine edge of competitiveness, playing some of the best footy one of the best halves in the comp, making Origin and winning it, to going for a guy that's too competitive and making too many errors because he's trying too hard to do whatever it is. But
it's a fine line, definitely.
I always appreciate players that they may not, like, don't get me wrong, we're talking about NRL levels of who's great and who's not great. He's obviously a great player, he's an NRL Origin player, but they may not have the talent of, say, a Greg Inglis, but they battle their way to the form that is whatever is one of the best. And for yourself, like going through last year, was there any time when you kind of step back and go, I'm actually playing the best footy of my life here and like enjoying it, reaping the rewards of so long years and years of kind of hanging, just being on the cusp and then getting in and then getting injured? Was there ever a time where you kind of stepped back and said, I'm here now?
Yeah, I guess there were definitely moments, and earning a City jersey was one of them.
I was going to ask you.
I don't have time for anyone that tells me that that's a nothing game, because that was another one of the best days of my life so far last year, and there were definitely moments, but I think at heart I'm just a lover of the game, and
just love footy.
Whether it took me to 28 to get to where I am now, then I wouldn't have gave up.
Oh, really? Okay.
I just love the game, and
so you'd be playing park footy if you weren't playing.
I can't wait to finish and get back to park.
Oh,
footy.
really?
Yeah, have that target on your head and
fuck that.
Just to be the town hero, could you imagine? Could you imagine scoring 4 tries on a Sunday arvo with a whole heap of drunks just chanting your name? And I reckon it'd be so
going
cool,
back to the local pub and you're just like, yeah, boys.
No one cares how many times you kicked out on the full or how many intercepts you threw. You scored 4 tries.
Whereas NRL, they'd be like, yeah, but he did this, but he did that.
That's right.
Oh, it's funny. There's actually a fair bit of money to be made playing local league. Go work. I mean, don't get me wrong. I try to tell a lot of the boys this. Working in the mines is not this easy gig that you just get from I'll just retire footy and I'll just go work in the mines and play local league. Yeah. The mines fucking suck to work in it. But in saying that, there is a lot of money to be made playing local league and just working in the mines. Is that something in the future you'd consider? Working away or?
Yeah, I'm not too sure where I'm going to end up. I think footy's my life. It always has been, and I think it always will be. So. I think I'll be involved in the game in some capacity. What that is yet, I'm not sure. But one thing I have noticed that the better you perform on the field for a long period, the more opportunities are going to open up.
100%.
So it's taken me this long to get to where I am now. I want to have plenty more years of like last year, and then see what comes of that.
And what's it like being with Ricky Stewart? He had a lot of pressure on him to deliver at the Raiders because of the situation of leaving the Eels and all the drama behind that, and coming to the Raiders. And I think his first year he struggled when he came. Did he come halfway through the year, or?
No, he come in, but he inherited a roster that
it wasn't his, and so he struggled. And then you guys have kind of picked up a bit of form now. What's it been like under him? A legend of the game. He's got his own issues that he's dealing with from the media and all that kind of stuff. What was his words to the team to get you through that period where you kind of struggled and then you picked up a bit of form?
I reckon it was just, everyone's got an opinion on Ricky Stewart, but I reckon it was just the love and care he showed for his players. And further to that, I haven't had a coach before that's so passionate about the club he's played for. He's obviously a Canberra boy, he's grown up there and won grand finals there. So, we're taught to really respect the players and the staff that have come before us at the club. And I think we got a club that's just really hard working boys, and we got a coach that really supports us 100%, and we really feel that from him.
And being at Canberra, I've said this in a few interviews, but Canberra has always been known, even in NRL circles, is you guys are pretty close. The team is pretty close. Is it still similar that because it's a quiet town and there's not much to do? Do you boys are you pretty close, and does Ricky Stewart kind of promote that ideal of being in a close side in a small town?
The thing I found is that majority of us in Canberra are away from our families. So we rely on each other a little bit more. Whereas I know when I played for the Tigers, I still lived in Penrith, and I'd finish training and head back to my house out west, and others would head to theirs in the city. And Sydney's a big place, so in Canberra we definitely rely on each other a bit more and spend a lot more time together. But they're all just hard-working country boys there. I call them rednecks because I'm a city boy, but
they call you Westie?
They're great fellas, but just hard working and being brought up well.
And do you see yourself as a lifelong Raiders player? Like, has it kind of taken a piece, like, because you have this extraordinarily good year, has it kind of, I guess, the Raiders culture or whatever infected you in a way where you're like, I want to be here for long term, I want to be a part of this, I guess, this club and this culture for a long time? Or is it more you're just going to play your footy and whatever happens?
Yeah, I guess I've learned in my time that it's hard to commit, because it's not only you that keeps you at the club. It's a mutual thing. But the Raiders is my third club, and I don't want another one. I think I've got two young kids, and Canberra's a wonderful place to raise them, and I'd love to be there. I've obviously extended another year, so I'll be there for another 3, and I'd love to be there for a long time. And
you said it's a good place to raise you. What was your growing up for you? Were you just average kid growing up that did a lot of sport, or was it was it tough for your family, financially, or was were you privileged? Do you have a lot of what was growing up in Western Sydney like for you? Was it because parts are pretty rough and
we grew up in Doonside, so Dooney cops a bit of a bad rap.
Oh, really?
Majority housing commission and.
Okay, so rough area.
Yeah, we lived in housing commission ourselves until we were 12.
Yep.
I didn't have a rough upbringing. I had great parents that, they didn't have much money, but no money was spared for sport. And my sisters will still winch today because I'd always get the best boots. But I tell them if they were talented, they would have got money too. So, my parents done a great job. My dad was always my coach, and my mum was my manager, and so at 12, I actually won a car in the footy show.
Oh, really?
So
what? That's crazy.
Yeah, 9 I was. So I won League of Their Own, and it was a Holden Jackaroo we won, and Mum and Dad sold that, and we got out of housing commission. They bought a house in Mount Druitt. So
okay, wow. So wait a sec. So you winning that car kind of pushed you out of gave you that kind of cushion to get out of housing commission.
Yeah, well, Mum and Dad would never sort of come across the cash for a house deposit. Yep. So. That allowed us to. It definitely wasn't a flash house in Mount Druitt, but being Aussie parents, it's definitely one of their goals to own a house, and we're able to do that.
It's the crazy thing is, like, a lot of me personally, like, I would love to be able to buy my mum a house eventually. Yeah. But you did it when you were 12. You did it when you were 12.
9 I was. Yeah.
You were like in the playground going, just bought mum a house.
All I got out of it actually was a Parramatta jersey. They bought me one to wear on the show when I collected.
And you literally couldn't sell. You couldn't give that to someone right now.
Nah. I told them they should have parked it in the car park in the driveway till I was 16. But so that's a good little story that I'll always have, and
Wow, so I mean, giving, like, winning the League of Your Own, and then giving them the opportunity to free them to buy the house, and then you go on to play NRL. I mean, it must be a huge deal in your family that you have come so far to play NRL. I mean, because it seems like footy is a part of your family. Your family enjoys it and loves it. So I mean, that phone call when you did say you were debuting, or when you played this year, what's the conversation like with your parents when you talk about what you've done and what you've achieved so far in footy in your career?
Yeah, so Mum's the Mum's the fanatic.
Oh, really?
Like Dad was always my coach, and
Yep.
he loves the game. But Mum's the one that won't miss a game live, and
Wow.
she'll travel around and
That's
be
cool.
at every game and things like that. So, yeah, she was definitely the first one I called and
Yep.
and let her know. And yeah, there were no prouder people, that's for sure. My dad loves letting people know that he's Blake Austin's father.
Yeah, oh, my dad was the same.
I pull him up a lot and tell him how embarrassing it is. But, yeah, he's a proud dad, and I guess he's got a right to be. He's put in a lot of work and a lot
Yep.
of effort for me. Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, if you live in, I mean, you clearly got all the opportunities you needed to get to where you are. So, I mean, your parents obviously worked their asses off to give you those chances, even when you were living in housing commissions. Because, like, it's similar for me. Like, we never wanted for anything, and we had a good life. But my dad literally was working like 70 hours a week, his ass off, and I'm sure your dad's similar. It's crazy how much when you're growing up, you don't see that, eh? You don't realise how much they're doing for you.
Well, yeah, playing at Dooney, and I actually coached there like not long ago too. But
oh, really?
So Dooney's an area where I was coaching under 17s team, and it was the same when I was 17 playing there. But you'll come to a game, and there's probably only 3 of the kids out of the whole team's parents that are there watching, you know, and the other sort of 14, 15 have made their own way or strolled in from a party the night before or something like that. So to have a mum and dad that sort of they didn't miss a school game, they didn't miss a club game, and they just love supporting.
So fortunate, man, to have that. Like a similar situation in my family. Just they were always there, and I never knew anything different.
You hated it when you were in high school.
Yeah, well, I was
used
like,
to be that.
it's
It was
embarrassing.
like it might be like an under-13s in-house trial to make the team, and they'll be sitting there watching.
Yep,
Like, you don't have to come along to this.
Mum, you don't have to come to everything. It's so embarrassing.
They'll be like that, yeah.
It's actually funny because it seems like we had a similar, like with athletics and stuff like that. We had similar upbringing when it came to like parents coming to the games and you know traveling. So obviously you made Queens, New South
Different
Wales.
Rep teams, yeah. So we travelled all over. You know, PWSA trips to Lismore and Ulladulla.
Yep.
And
Did you ever go to nationals for running?
Discus, I went to nationals for. That was
Really?
under 10s, yeah.
Under 10s?
We went to
Swear to
Melbourne.
God.
Yeah.
So under 10s, that would have been... Oh, we're not the same age, eh? I was going to say,
we're
in
not
my
the
under
same
10s, I went to nationals as well. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, going forward, what I mean, is Origin in your radar? Like, is that something you think about? I mean, there is a position there. It is open and it's ready for someone in New South Wales to take it. I mean, is that something that you actively think about, or is it like, you know what, get it out of my head and just focus on my club footy?
Yeah, you know, it's not the easiest question to answer
Yep.
because you don't want to sound like a goose, but
Yeah.
I think the way I look at it is when I was heading into last year, it certainly wasn't on my radar.
Yeah.
I was just a kid that was working hard to find my feet, and so heading into this year, I think, you know, I know the formula, and if I work hard and if I'm playing the similar sort of footy, I'm confident enough that I'll be in the mix, and whatever happens from there is out of my control. So
Okay.
I think it's about, you know, everyone wants to play Origin.
Yeah,
but
100%.
You know, I'm a New South Wales boy, and I'd love to represent my state, and
Yep.
so if it happened, I'll be over the moon. But
It's not really. Is it? But like, do you think about it at all, like a lot, or is it something that you know you don't really think about?
You picture yourself running out in front of
Yeah,
80,000
yeah.
things like that. Definitely, man. I'm a footy purist, as I
Yep.
said, but I'm also passionate about bringing a premiership to the Raiders, and
Yep.
you know, if you can get the Raiders to somewhere near that position, you're going to be playing decent enough footy for things to come. So, yeah.
Was when I mean coming up through the ranks when you were before you did debut, was New South Wales and Australian side, was that like in your future? Did you ever imagine that? Or?
Yeah, it always was for me.
Okay.
I guess the hardest thing is when you're growing up that you know what you're capable of.
Yep.
And you know inside you what you can do with certain opportunities. It's just whether you're afforded them. And
Yeah, that's very true.
So for a long time it was pretty frustrating knowing what I thought I was capable of, and you know, it's taken till now for, you know, thanks to Ricky, to sort of see something in me to give me a continued run in the top grade. Yeah.
And it's such 5'8" is such a hard position because it you know, for example, like wing, they either like usually coaches either like big wingers or small wingers, whereas 5'8", it's like they like a running game. They don't like a running game. They like a controlling 5'8". They don't, you know, there's so many variables that attribute to the opinion of a coach when it comes to who he wants as a 5'8". That just in that exact what you just said then, you know, some coach would want a ball playing 5'8", whereas you're a ball playing 5'8" with a running game. So you know, some coaches might be like, I don't want a running game, I want a ball. You know, so
definitely.
It's got to be frustrating, especially like with how talented you obviously knew you were.
It's about finding a system that fits you. And,
yep.
You know, I play behind a pack that scatters defensive lines.
Mate, fucking Raiders
my
pack
best
is
stuff
so
comes
big.
off second phase and broken defensive lines. So they give me plenty of that.
And I mean, physically, I know you're injured, but physically, compared to last year, where are you at? Are you just in just as good nick as you were last year physically, or are you still hovering around because you're injured and you're in rehab, so you obviously can't go as...
Yeah, to be honest, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. Obviously, my all that's been affected really is my upper body weights.
Yep.
Which isn't really good for your Instagram photos. You're not looking as big as what you hope around this time of year. So,
especially summer.
But I've been running, and I was only saying to the boys last week, and I haven't had quite the slog they had early on in the preseason. So heading into Christmas, I was really raring and ripping into training, and probably a lot fresher than what they were. So they sort of crawled out of HQ on the last day, and I was sort of keen to continue on. So I think I've been sort of used my time well and worked on the things that I could, and my fitness has got to a good level, and as I said before, put a little bit more meat on the legs, and hopefully it's going to hold me in good stead.
With free and easy sign up and the ability to make up to $1,000 from entry fees as low as $2, moneyball.com.au is Australia's #1 fantasy sports destination. To support the locker room, head over to moneyball.com.au and sign up for free today. When I was playing in reserve grade once, some dude in the crowd goes, "Dead camp," and I for some reason I heard it, and he was like, "The chicken called. He wants his legs back," and I was like, "That's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good." So next year, if there's one thing that you could focus on to improve on, what is it? What more do you want to bring to your game next year?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm a big believer in sticking to your strengths, and I think first of all, it's important that my running game's at the level next year that it was this year.
Yep.
And then adding to that, I want to really strengthen my passing game and my pass selection. And further to that, I want to chip in and shoulder a bit more of the load with the kicking duties.
So your kicking game.
I think I've got a good enough kicking game to really complement the side, and it's something that I really have undervalued, sort of definitely last year, and something I need for the team. I need to be doing more of. So.
And it adds another, because you are such a good runner of the ball. If they think you're going to kick it, it helps. All it does is put an extra thought in their mind. So you can feint a kick or you can not kick. It's like forwards that can pass. It's an extra thing that defenders kind of have to worry about. They can't just get off the line and jam them. So,
but I think also too, being a running 5'8", you hear all the time that all he can do is run. He's just a runner. And, it's something that irks me a little bit because it's what I'm good at. Although I do need to work on a couple of things, why go away from something
clearly working?
That's work, So I think it's important that my running game's at the level it was this year, and then add in a few more things. But I think with a couple of tweaks to our game plan at the Raiders too, it's gonna bring more pass into my game and help me this year.
The Raiders have always been a team that you've always had the squad, and you've got the advantage of your home games always been probably harder than the Warriors' home games because it's just so cold and shitty and so I mean, what do you reckon is going to be that extra piece in the puzzle for the Raiders to finally get that massive forward pack you have? And I think it was 2009 or something. You just went on a run, or
2011, I think.
2011, you went on a run, and you were just literally running through teams. It was just not even. You were just too big, too powerful. What do you reckon is that missing piece? Do you think it is a leading, Aiden Caesar, the guy that can lead around, or what do you reckon it is?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you go by last year, we lost 4 games by less than 2 points.
Okay.
We lost another 3 by 4 points, and and a couple by 6. So our home record was abysmal, and
which is crazy. I couldn't believe that.
Well, the only excuse I can offer is we had a lot of new out of the area players come in last year, so we're still not used to Canberra ourselves. Maybe
that's very true. That's very true. And then you've kind of got this subconscious thought of we should be sweet here. If you know what I mean?
Kind of a little bit. Yeah.
Obviously you don't actively think that. There's always going to be even when we're playing at Suncorp with the Broncos, there was always a small thought in my head is it's easier here than it is away.
Yeah, definitely. So going by last year, if we can get a bit smarter as a team and get better at closing out their matches, then I can't see why we can't be a force.
And we'll go through this one of the quickest hat tricks literally in history. Just take us through like what you like. I mean, how it all happened and came about, and like what you were thinking, and like all of that, because it was fucking unbelievable, to be quite honest. I'll just get it up for you.
Yeah, it was a
walk us through that, man.
A bit of a cold night in Canberra, and it ended up just being one of those nights where we were definitely the first half anyway, where I thought I sort of could do no wrong. We ended up shifting. We ended up shifting in the first set and made a break down the right edge, and all I done was caught the ball and put it over the line.
And you dare say that you stepped to fullback in one of them?
No, not the first one. So the first one I sort of wedged inside Sisawanga and made sure he wasn't going to get the try, so I could have it. But the second one, it was just another support one, and slightly wrong-footed Kirk Gidley.
Come on now, don't be humble, bro. You literally broke his knees, man.
Poor fella.
You retired his knees. You probably
legend of the game.
He's talk about tough. He's tough. So your third try, were you like, what's doing here? Like, can't we just? Was it 4 minutes or something, or 6 minutes?
No, it was about 14, I think.
14 minutes. Was it one of the fastest hat-tricks in a row?
There's been a couple. Gavin Cooper had a quick one last year, and Sean Johnson's had some ridiculous short amount.
He's so good, man.
This one I just grabbed it and put it down. It's not much to it, mate.
Come on, bro. Don't be so humble.
My dad wants to know why I didn't score more. Yeah, they were on the first half, so in 15 minutes they were the first 3 tries of the game. So
in the first 15, far out.
So Dad's like, well, if you can handle 3 in 15 minutes, why didn't you score 6? Yeah,
you've got like what 45, like 60,
probably a fair question. Yeah,
60 minutes to score more. So you've played bad.
It's a weird feeling. Yeah,
you've actually played bad.
Yeah. It's a weird feeling. Like you want to pack up and finish up for the night after scoring 3 in 15 minutes. So
it kind of gets in your head a bit.
It's kind of hard to. Yeah. Well, you've already ticked it off as a good game in your book.
Yeah, you're right.
100%.
Yeah.
But luckily, we went on to win. And
did you play good the rest of the game, or were you kind of a bit rattled?
No, I wasn't too bad. Yeah, I was, to be honest, a little bit. It was a pretty weird feeling.
Yeah, because like to score 3 tries in 15 minutes. I mean, especially as a half, it's not like you're a winger that can just go and stand out in the wing and be like, all right, I'm kind of done. Like you've got to be in the game constantly.
Yeah.
You're right. Actually, it's been a weird feeling. You still played bad though. You should have scored 4. So, what was I going to say? Are you Portuguese?
Good question. I'm sorry to anyone out there that I disappoint with this answer, because I know there's one young fella. But
can you tell that story, or you can't tell the story?
No, I don't want to tell that story. Okay, all right. He's only young.
Yeah. He's probably going to be like watching this, and he's going to be like, no.
Yeah, so I was a 16-year-old, and when you're 16, you jump in any game of footy you can. And Dad knew the coach, and he said come for a run, and I turned out to be one of the better players, and they kept inviting me back. So that's how I've got 4 test caps for Portugal to my name.
You're an international, bro.
I am an international. I told Don Turner that on my negotiations, but he
didn't. You want a bar of it?
Didn't up much. No.
Bro, you should go to the Players Association and say that Portugal should be getting paid as much as Australia to play for Australia. This is bullshit.
No, but I think at 16, we played a game against Malta, and Jared Zemmett was playing. There was 1 or 2 other first graders playing, and for a 16-year-old to even be on the field with a couple of NRL players and sort of hold my own against them was something that I think contributed to. You
wouldn't be allowed to play that now, would you? 16?
Yeah, I'm not too sure actually.
I think there's like an age on first grade now. Yeah, it's just that would be considered a first grade level.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So you wouldn't even be.
So that was a something that sort of helped me along.
Bit of a G up. Playing for Portugal. Sorry. Yeah, sweet. Sorry for disrespecting all the Portuguese NRL fans.
I'm only trying to help.
I was going to say, craziest memory playing footy. What's the memory that you sit back and you go, holy shit, like when you're playing on the field or, seeing in the sheds or whatever? Would be something that when I say craziest memory playing footy, that immediately comes to your mind?
For me, I wouldn't say it's crazy, but it's probably my first memories of playing footy. I started playing at 4, and obviously you don't remember much as a 4-year-old, but one of the things I do remember is waking up at 6 a.m. every Saturday morning on game day. You know, I'd wake up, I'd put all my gear on as soon as I woke up, my boots, socks, shorts. I'd sit on the lounge and I'd sit there and watch Barney every morning. That's my first footy memory. And
watching Barney in your boots.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, far
my dad wouldn't wake till 8.
Yep.
I'd been sitting there for a couple of hours watching cartoons. So
far out. That excited.
Not so crazy, but my first memories of footy.
Far out. That's crazy watching Barney in your kit. And then just like wear it the whole day, go to the shops in your kit, and like just never take it off.
Absolutely. Wearing your boots around Woolies.
And who's the most underrated player you've played with that you've not underrated, but who's someone that you people would be surprised that is a guy that you want in your team every week?
There's been I've had a couple of clubs, so there's been a few. Nathan Smith was one at Penrith.
Yep.
Yeah, at the Tigers, a guy like Chris Lawrence cops it from the fans.
Man,
but
far out. He started young as well. He was a gun. He was killing.
Had a lot of injury problems, and but people don't see how hard he works away from footy and
hard worker.
So he's one. And at the Raiders this year, probably Sia Soliola. I think
so big.
I don't think there's many players that have gone from NRL to Super League and then come back again.
That's very true.
At the age that he's at, and mate, he was the unsung hero of the Raiders last year.
Oh, really?
Picked up our Players Player at the awards night too. So that's how highly we rate him down there. Yeah.
Did you win any awards at the Dally M's?
Picked up the 5'8" of the year, which was
that's crazy.
Which was that's probably one of
that's got to be a dream for you.
One of the craziest memories.
Walk us through that. You're sitting at your table, having a few beers.
I had a couple. I was nervous to say I got in trouble because when I went up, I didn't kiss my partner.
Oh no!
Apparently, all the others did.
That's travesty. That's a travesty.
If you're watching, babe, I'm really sorry. If I ever lucky enough to win another one, I'll give you a 10-second patch.
Yeah, just grab her and start bashing her. Everyone's like, "What's doing?"
Yeah, but a huge thrill. It was actually a bit weird because my name actually came up on the TV monitor. They were actually the names for the positions were actually popping up probably 10 seconds before he called him out.
Oh, okay. So you kind of knew.
Like, when they called the fullback, I've noticed that it's popped up early, and I was like, should I look early or should I wait for the name? And I've ended up glancing and saw my name. And
were you just like...
Then I still had to wait for him to call it out because, like I said on the night, I think 5'8" was one of the positions where it really could have gone to one of the 4 nominees. I think Anthony Milford obviously had a killer year and led his team to the grand final. Michael Morgan did the same with the Cowboys, and James Maloney had a good year too. So,
but you won it. Like you won it.
Yeah, I got the trophy sitting on my cabinet, and it's
what's that like for you to think of a kid growing up loves footy and you beat some of literally the best players in the game. You beat them, guys that were in the grand final. Milford's going to be. He's already a star. He's going to be even bigger star next year. You got Michael Morgan that is unbelievably good, and you won. Like, how does that make you feel when only a year ago you were kind of like, shit, I don't know whether I'll be cemented first grade or not?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's what I said on the night too. From where I've come from to be one of the 4 nominees is completely enough for me. And so it was definitely a shock. My dad actually did when you win the grand final, they parade the trophy around, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
So my dad paraded my Dally M trophy around all the relos. And, one of my other cousins has a business.
Yep.
So he had it on their work desk. So when all the customers come in, they were glancing at it. I got doing photos. So
imagine if your son did that, you'd be exactly.
My dad had it. He had it down at cricket one day, and he was showing all his mates. And my brother said, "Dad, you better put that away because Blake's coming here soon." And then apparently I was driving in the thing, and he started quickly trying to put it away because he knew I'd rouse.
Laugh about it.
It's pretty embarrassing. But a huge thrill and
okay, so I asked a few questions to the boys. Actually, no, I wanted to ask you before I got into this. Did you ever consider hanging up? Did you ever consider getting a full-time job when you're 22 years old? Didn't know whether you're going to play first grade. Were you ever like, maybe I need to step away from this and get a full-time job?
Oh, to be quite, it might sound a bit selfish, but to be quite honest, no.
So you knew that you were going to do anything to be a first grader?
Yeah,
and
footy, as I said before, footy's always been my life, and it's all I've known. And I was the kid that didn't want to be. When you're at school and what do you want to be? I want to be a footballer, and you get the spiel about the percentage that make it. And
I got the same spiel.
I was the kid that didn't want to borrow that, and I was going to put everything into footy. And I think I'd always shown enough and felt in myself enough that I could be.
Yep.
I could be sort of get to where I've gotten so far and hopefully further. And so that was it. But it was definitely tough. I was 22 with a young son. And
yep. Was it? I mean, like financially, how was it for you? Was it tough?
Yeah, it wasn't easy. That's for sure. But having great parents and
yep.
and people around you, I was lucky enough to stay in Sydney while we were on little money, so
yep.
we could always rely on family and things like that. So, but yeah, I was never going to give up. No
yep.
way.
Oh, well, that's crazy. Where do you reckon this? I mean, you've spoken about it a few times. This belief of you've got this belief that you know what you're capable of. A lot of players and a lot of people, they don't really have that. Like I had a similar belief when I was coming through. Like I knew what I was capable of, and I knew that if I trained hard enough and did all the right things, I would play in a role. Where do you reckon it came from? Do you reckon it came from your having a lot of sport younger and kind of testing the boundaries of your ability from a very young age, or where do you reckon it comes from?
Yeah, just from playing footy. I think it sounds silly, but you're the only one that's present at every single one of your games. You might get scouts blow in every now and then and watch one or two here, and if you have an off day, they strike your name as quick as they've come down. So when you know yourself if you're sort of good enough. And, people will be quick to shoot you down, but if you stay true and work hard, I think work hard. It took me till I was 22, 23 to realise how hard you have to work. And
when it was kind of on the line where you're like, I could lose this here.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yep.
And that's when I said I worked my ass off, and I left the Panthers and went to the Tigers. I was 9 kilos lighter when I showed up for day one at the Tigers.
Wow! So you went away and trained your ass off.
Yeah.
So what was that? Was it just running? Was it did you go down the field, kick the ball? Like what was the training like? Was it like Rocky?
I was doing garbage bag road runs.
Really?
In 40-degree heat, honestly.
Far
I'd come back sweating like hell, but that's something that worked for me. And
so you just said I'm doing anything, and so you put on, like you were doing boxing runs and stuff like that, similar to boxing.
Yeah, well, honestly, it was a huge shock when I said, like I said before, when clubs weren't lining up. That was a huge shock for a young kid. That when you're young and you come into grade, you fancy yourself a bit, and
feel like you got forever as well.
You think if things don't work out, I'm gonna. There's 16 other clubs, but it didn't work like that, and that was the wake up call I needed.
So I asked a few of the boys this. Favourite rapper of all time? Are you into rap? Actually, I want to ask you about your tattoos as well.
Okay, no worries. Probably Biggie Smalls.
Okay,
I like his tone.
His flow.
I had one song that I always used to listen to growing up before a game, and that was Eazy-E.
Yeah.
But I don't know too many of his other songs. But
what was it? What was the song?
It was Real Mother Effing G's.
You can swear on this show, bro.
So that's a...
we are crazy motherfuckers.
That was a big pump-up song when I was young, so... but yeah, probably Biggie.
Yep, he's fucking so good. Current rapper. I reckon you'd be Kendrick, man.
To be honest, I'm not a huge music man.
Don't you say that.
I'm really not. I'm not a huge music man. No.
Okay.
I think I toiled with the idea of music before games growing up because it was kind of the cool thing to do.
Yeah, get pumped and stuff like that.
I don't do music.
Okay.
Reading's my main game day thing.
You read?
Yeah.
What do you read?
But I read really like I read like motivational stuff.
Bro,
The Road Less Travelled.
Yep.
I've read The Secret a couple of times.
The Secret, yeah.
I've just grabbed the Legacy, the All Blacks one. It's all about their culture and things.
Yeah.
So, reading something that's helped me on game day. Yeah.
Where did that come from then? I mean, a kid from Western Sydney, covered in tats. The stereotype would be that you don't read. I read. I'm a nerd. I love video games and all that shit.
Yep.
And I would be stereotyped as this wog-looking fella that probably dog shots people in clubs on the weekend. But that's what I do. Where did that come from for you?
Yeah, no, it's just something I sort of started. Everything's based around footy.
Okay.
And, I started thinking about ways I could change my game day. And
yep.
When you're reading the paper or reading something you're enjoying, then it's probably one of the most peaceful times you can have. So, really enjoy reading on game day and sort of just being with myself and being calm. Yeah.
Have you ever considered like podcasts and stuff like that, as in motivational podcasts? There's some fucking good ones out there, man. Or even audiobooks.
Yep.
Or have you listened to any audiobooks?
No, I flick around on YouTube and watch them.
Yeah, you should try it, man. It's I'll speak about it later. But yeah, it's audiobooks are good, man. They like read the book to you, so like you can be driving in the car, and they just read the book. So like let's say you're reading the All Blacks book, the drive tonight that you're going to do, just put it on, boom, they read it to you. And
Yeah,
so,
right.
you know, like whenever you got downtime, just put it on. That's what I do whenever I'm, you know, driving to the gong or whatever. But yeah, favourite movie of all time?
My favourite movie of all time is Hitch.
Hitch?
Will Smith.
What?
I just think he's the
so
smoothest, most organised, knows what's going on.
Yeah.
I can recite quite a few lines.
Really?
But yeah, really enjoy Hitch.
Recite a
Vance
line.
Munson was a pig.
Have you seen Concussion, his latest one, Will Smith?
Nah, I haven't. Nah.
It's do you like NFL?
Yep.
It's about like it's a true story about when they first discovered the ramifications and the what happens to the brain when you get concussed and how dangerous it is and the long term effects, because all these NFL players, like these greats, were killing themselves and depressed and had anxiety and bad with money and then ended up finding out that it was all linked to concussions.
Yep.
And that's why there's a huge lawsuit still going, I think, in America, and that's also why recently the NRL has brought in, you know, all the things to take care of people when they get head knocks, because it's pretty, like, if you like movies and serious movies, it's a good movie.
And just on that too, I just watched Joy last night.
Joy was good. I want to see it.
Anyone
Jennifer
looking
Lawrence?
for a bit of motivation and mate, she's the perseverance and strength that she shows in that movie is unbelievable. Yeah.
I want to watch it, man. I was
movie.
keeping it for my missus. She gets angry if I watch it. If I watch
a
movie,
that's right.
she'd be like, "I can't believe we watched it." And I'll be like, "I've been waiting for like 3 months to watch this movie."
We went away one time and I watched it with the boys away, and she was filthy. Yeah.
Filthy, yeah. No, it's one of it. It's a little thing we have.
Yep.
So, all right, bro. We are over time, so I apologise. The conversation was so good. I apologise for 20 minutes over time. So sorry about that, but it has been awesome, bro. I really appreciate you coming on. It's been, it's been really eye-opening. I enjoyed your season last year, and I think the fans are going to love this. So, yeah, thanks heaps for coming on, bro. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, mate, and keep it up. Yeah, I think fans enjoy this kind of stuff, and it's great, yeah.
Sweet as, bro. Moneyball has given away huge cash prizes with over $150,000 won every single week and more than $2 million won already. You can play any way you like with daily or weekly competitions. Head over to moneyball.com.au and sign up for free today.